Hey everybody, it's Brent, Central Arkansas. Today's video is about selecting kernels for the next generation of my corn. I'm attempting to create a really sweet open pollinated corn. You know, with corn there is some inbreeding depression potentially, but before I get to that point, I'm hoping that I get enough selection where I can create a big enough field to cross-pollinate to keep the lines going towards an open pollinated version. You know, I know they've done it in the past because we have varieties like Silver Queen and other open pollinated sweet corns. So this is my attempt. Anyway, I've got you here because I've got my corn cobs here. Now they're a little small, and it might have something to do with my breeding. I want them to be a little smaller, not the corn cobs, but the plants themselves. I want them to be smaller. I don't want them to be 8 foot tall. I want them to be about 4 foot tall, maybe 5 foot tall at most. But I still want the bigger cobs. But right now, I don't know if it's my breeding or if it's the way they were grown. They weren't grown in ideal conditions this year. But next year, hopefully, they will be a little better. So what I'm selecting for is the seed for the next generation, and the way you do that is, or the way I'm doing it is, I'm looking for individual kernels on here that meet what I want as far as sugar content for the next plants. And the way I can tell that is, this is the lesser desired seed here, and they're identified by yellow little kernels here. And by the way, each kernel is fertilized by one of these little silk strands, and it goes down to the kernel and it creates its own plant. The kernel right next to it will be completely different because each one of these are fertilized separately. So if you're going to pick the next generation with corn, you have to pick the kernels. They're more ideal. Now, I've already looked at plant structure, and I pulled cobs off of the plants that I want, ones that were producing between 2 and 4 cobs per plant. And that's what I want. I also selected based on height. So I got the plant, I guess you'd call it phenotype, the way it looks, by pulling the cobs off. And now I'm selecting for sweetness based on each individual kernel. And the way I do that is, first I taste tested the lighter color ones compared to the darker color ones, and the darker color ones are soft and they're absolutely born with sugar. They're so, here's a really small cob where you can see the difference. You see how that's yellow, and right next to it's a darker colored. That one next to it, they're not even hard. They are so sugar impregnated that they're not even hard. So I'm selecting those and I'm putting them in this pile, and the lighter color ones I'm putting in this pile. Now I've tasted these, all of these, several of these I've tasted already, and they're sweet. But these taste like pure sugar. I mean, just absolutely pure sugar. So that's how I'm making my selection. Alright guys, that's it. The ones on the left are my selection for the next growing season, and the one on the right, there's a whole lot of it there, are backups. And potentially, I don't know, maybe do a microgreen grow or something with them, I'm not sure. But these are what I'm going to go with first. If they don't germinate, or if I have germination problems, I can go back to these. Now believe it or not, last year's selection had a lot less kernels, so I'm on the right path. This is Brent, you guys. We'll see you later.